ಬಂದಿದೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿ, ಹಿರಿಯರೇ ಇತರ ರಾಜ ರಾಣಿ, ಹತ್ತೋಣ ನಾವು ಅವರ ನೆನಪಿನ ದೋಣಿ, ಕೇಳುತ್ತಾ ಖುಷಿ ಪಡೋಣ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿ, ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಖುಷಿ ಪಡೋಣ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿ, ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಖುಷಿ ಪಡೋಣ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿ. ಇದು ಹಿರಿಯರ ಕತೆ ಹಿರಿಯರ ಜೊತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಇರಿ, ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿರಿ. Hello listeners, this is your RJ Chandana and I welcome you all to Anubhav, a joint project of National Institute of Social Defense, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India and Media for Community Foundation, implemented by Nightingales Medical Trust. Project conceived by Dr. R. Sridhar, Project Investigator Alok Verma, Coordinators Pooja Murada, Sai Sudha, Kaushalya. Government of India has initiated an elder line toll-free number 14567. Elders or anyone on behalf of elders can call between morning 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for any questions, queries and support to elderly.
Much to the Nightingale Medical Trust and to Usha ma'am for inviting me. I feel honored. It is just my father's fame rubbing off on me. So, okay, I'm very grateful to him too. So, thank you so much for showing so much interest and for having me here to talk to you. So, since my father was known by the moniker Kadal Mannan, the king of romance. So I guess a lot of memories associated with him, both for his fans and friends and colleagues, are all about his romantic adventures on screen and off screen. So that's understandable. And of course, he was extremely good looking, that we know. And he was part of the three top actors of his time, Shivaji Ganesan, M.G. Ramachandran, and Gemini Ganesan. They were known as the triumvirate of Tamil cinema those days. Just like in Hindi cinema, you had Dilip Kumar, Devanand, and Raj Kapoor. So I think all three were, of course, very different in their approaches to acting, and their lives were also, of course, very different. The only thing is that my father never ever ventured into the political world, whereas Shivaji Ganesan and M.G. Ramchandran were also into politics. So that's the only difference. Apart from that, they were good colleagues. They had good relations. So, how would you like me to open the subject? I mean, you all know who he is. I don't know if most of you are Kannada speaking or Tamil speaking.
There's a mixture of both.
Mixture of both. Okay.
Yeah. But what you can begin, ma'am, you can tell a little about yourself. Then begin with your association as a daughter.
Okay. So my father married my mother. It was my mother was from Trichinopoli. My father lost his father when he was only 8 years old. So he was brought up by his mother, who actually had him when she was past 30 years old. So he was a very prized only child. And of course, very spoilt and very coddled in Pudukkottai. And his Chinnatata, what you call his grand uncle, his grandfather's brother, who was the principal of Maharaja's College in Pudukkottai, adopted him because he felt that the child needed guidance and should be given a proper education, etc. So he took him under his wing, and he was a great pioneer in education and especially women's education. So he put him in the college in Pudukkottai, and then after a while, my father went to Ramakrishna Mission School in Chennai, and then on to Madras Christian College. Anyway, that's about his background. But when he married my mother, he was still a student in Madras Christian College. He was studying BSc chemistry. I think he was in the second year. He was 18 years old, and my mother was almost 15, I think 14 and a half, and 14 and a half, or 15, or maybe 15 and a half, and he was 18 or 19. So he was still in college, and when he came home for the holidays, the arranged marriage happened, and my mother's name was Alamelu, T.R. Alamelu. T.R. stood for Tiruchi Rajagopalan Nayyar, and her father ran the railway canteen in Tiruchi. So my mom also lost her mother when she was a child. And then soon after she got married, her father also died because he was a severe diabetic and he had. So when my father and mother started their married life, in the course of their married life, they had 4 daughters. So I am the third. You asked me to start off about myself, but I gave such a long preamble. I'm sorry.
That's okay, ma'am. Yeah.
I'm the third daughter. So the other 3 girls, the other 3 sisters are all medical doctors. So I am the only one who rebelled against medicine, and I said I don't want to do medicine because I am very faint-hearted. Like when I see people suffering in pain, I start crying. So I'm very sensitive. So I said I can't do it. I can't poke a needle into anybody's body. I'm very sensitive. So my 2 older sisters and my younger sister, they all chose medicine because they were interested in it. Nobody forced them.
Okay.
They wanted to do it. So but my second older sister, Kamala, she tried to force me into medicine, and I told her, look, I just can't do it. And I was so scared that she'll force me that I went and took arts in pre-university, so that after that there was no turning back. And I went on to do economics and masters in economics, etc. And I became a journalist. So I always say, I suppose they think I'm the black sheep of the family because I didn't become a doctor. But I enjoy my profession. I love writing. I love engaging with people. And I'm very happy about the choice of my profession. And
I
my
guess
father encouraged me. He
each
was
one
very
of us have
encouraging.
I think each one of us have our own journeys.
Yes.
So it's nice to be blessed with our own journeys.
Yeah. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
grew up in
Continue.
Chennai. I went to college I went to school in Church Park Convent, Presentation Convent, a little bit in Kodaikanal. Then I went to college in Stella Maris. I did my BA, MA, I did in Etraj. And then I lived in Chennai, got married, then lived in Chennai, in Patiala, Punjab. Then I came to Delhi. And I joined the Times of India in Delhi only when I have 2 daughters, only when they started going to full-time school. Then I joined the Times of India, and I was with the Times of India for some 34 years. And in the course of my journey with the Times of India, I've been an opinion writer. I've never been a reporter. I've been on the edit page, writing editorials on environment, science, travel, tourism, wellness. And then when the publishers...
2 minutes question, and I will just think it over the combination of what.
Sorry. Sorry. I'll mute everyone, ma'am. You can unmute and then speak.
Okay.
Then you won't be disturbed. I'll just mute everyone.
She should mute.
Ma'am, you can unmute and go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I've unmuted.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear
So,
you.
yeah. So as I was saying, I used to write on environment, science, wellness, philosophy, and travel, tourism, etc. I used to write editorials, opinion pieces, do interviews. And then when our publisher, Mr. Samir Jain, started this column Speaking Tree, and there was someone else taking care of it in Bombay, Ranjit Hoskote, and for a year he looked after it, and then he left. So then the column somehow found its way to me, and ever since I've been doing it. And then we also briefly had a Sunday broadsheet newspaper called The Speaking Tree. I think in Kannada they bring out Bodhi Vriksh. There's a newspaper called Bodhi Vriksh, but that folded up during the pandemic. And then I also retired in 2021. So now another colleague of mine takes care of it. So that has been my journalistic journey. What else you want to know about me?
What are you passionate about? Do you like acting? Did you want to?
I've never liked acting, but I love watching movies. I'm a big fan of all language films. Like right now, like because of Netflix and Amazon Prime, we have the privilege of watching everything at home. So briefly, I got addicted to Korean dramas last year because pandemic made us sit at home all the time, and I really enjoyed those. But I see all language films, and I like romance, I like thrillers, I like historical movies, biographies. Like so, that is the extent to which I am passionate about acting, in the sense that I don't like to act myself, but I like to watch others acting.
All right.
And as far as sports is concerned, my father was a very avid sports person, active in cricket, billiards, tennis, badminton, golf. So he was active in all these sports. He's won prizes in all these sports. I'm afraid I'm very lazy physically. So I've never been interested in being a sports person. Neither have any of my sisters, though my two older sisters used to play a lot of table tennis and badminton when they were young. But I don't think they took it up seriously. It was just a hobby. And of course, I've been to all those cricket matches when it used to be a 5-day affair, and we used to go there and sit and watch all those famous cricket players play. That was the extent of my interest. That's it. But otherwise, yeah, one thing passionately I've taken up after my father is the love of food and cooking. He was a fantastic cook. Like he could just rustle up something very quickly, and it would taste divine. And I've learned a lot about cooking from him. And I also love cooking and eating, of course. So that is my weakness. And apart from that, he was a voracious reader. He used to read a lot. Even as a student, he used to go to the second-hand book market in Moore Market in Chennai, near the Central Station, which I think is no longer exists now. They've demolished it. It was a heritage building.
Yes.
So he used to go there every weekend and pick up books very cheap. And he had a whole big collection of all kinds of books. And you won't believe it. One day I was going through all his books, and of course I would read all his books. He had books on adventure, thriller, travel, philosophy, biographies, and he had even astrology, palmistry, everything under the sun. Not a single book on romance. You won't believe it. It suddenly struck me, I said, how come? Maybe he lived romance in his life and therefore he didn't find the need to read about it. But that was very curious. Like I found it very interesting that he had such a wide interest in reading and nothing in romance. And he used to subscribe to Life magazine, National Geographic, Reader's Digest. And my mom was also a voracious reader. She used to read mostly Tamil language. She could read English, but she preferred to read magazines like Kalki, Ananda Vikadan, Manjari, and all these magazines. So we children used to read both Tamil and English. Whatever my parents read, we would also read. And of course, the time came when we reached the stage when we used to read Mills and Boons and Dennis Robbins, all those romantic novels, and they were kept under lock and key. My mother would ask my oldest sister, who was 10 years older than me, she would say, check the book. What is Narayani reading? Is it fit for her? Only then you should give it to her. So she would first screen what I was reading. And so it was pretty strict household, Orthodox people. Yeah. So, and of course, I love writing. So.
If anybody would like to ask a question, you can unmute and ask, ma'am. If you have something to ask her, you can go ahead and ask.
Narayani, I am Jaya here.
Okay, hi, Jaya.
எனக்கு உங்க அப்பாவோட அத்தனை சினிமாவும் பார்த்திருக்கேன்.
Oh my goodness.
Not allowing. Somehow I will request him and I will go to the movies. During 56, some movies are வாடிக்கை மறந்தது மேனும் அவரோட பாட்டுகள்லாம்
கல்யாண பரிசு.
Even now I can sing so many of him.
So nice.
But I enjoyed his acting. Very innocent face, romantic face.
Yeah. His acting used to be a little understated, not very dramatic like the others. Yeah.
Just like he was not acting. He was really in
Natural.
the
That
character.
is that is why he fell in love so many times now, because he used to get so involved with his heroines. So the thing is, he was so charming and so what do you call, childlike, that you want to get angry with him, but you can't, because he will be making a dosa and then you'll say, Appa, why did you do this? He'll just fling that dosa on your plate and say, see if it's okay. What do you say then? I mean, like, then you start eating the dosa. And you can't get angry with him. Like, he was so sweet, like he was so affectionate, so caring. He would advise us on all our reading habits, on what we should study. He took a lot of interest in what we did. He took a lot of interest. When he had more time for my two older sisters, he used to even take them shopping to buy saris, etc., which he didn't do for me. He was very busy then. But every birthday, what was our gift? He would take us to Higginbotham's, the famous bookstore in Chennai. And then he would say, this is the limit. This is the financial limit. Go and choose whatever books you want. So then we would run wild. Like, I would be so excited. Then I would go and choose books, and then he would tell me this book is okay, that book is not okay. Then I remember I once saw a junior science encyclopedia, some 8 volumes, and it was so attractive. Then I thought maybe it's too expensive. So I asked him, do you think I can choose this? He said, of course. So he immediately bought that set of encyclopedias for me. Like, those were thrilling moments. And then after the book purchase, he would take the birthday girl straight to Mecronet Bakery. Then you would choose whatever pastries you want. Then you choose the pastries, and then you come home. No birthday party and all that. This was the birthday gift. Like, of
The
course, you
earlier
clothes.
they don't.
Yeah. My grandmother will say, அந்த கேக்ல முட்டை இருக்கோ அதை சாப்பிடாது. Because they were all vegetarians. So my father will say, அதெல்லாம் ஒண்ணும் இல்ல, குழந்தை சாப்பிட்டோம், நீ பேசாம இரு, he'll say. So he was very affectionate. Yeah. I really treasure those memories. Yeah.
Exactly.
Later, when we'd grown up, like I was maybe in my 20s or so, every morning he used to go for a walk on the beach. I don't think it was that much for exercise, rather than to meet all his old friends who would also be walking there. Then he'll keep stopping and chatting with them, old stories. Then he'll start visiting people who live near the beach. I used to tell him, Mappa, this is so gross. How can you go early in the morning to somebody's house and then ask for coffee? This is very rude. And he used to say, no, they love it. They don't mind. Don't be silly and all that. That was good fun. I remember those days. Yes. The other thing he loved to do was to go and shop for vegetables himself. Like, he used to love shopping for vegetables with all those vendors on the road. Then he'll bargain with them for 4 annas, for 8 annas. I used to tell them, why are you bargaining with them? You're so rich. Can't you pay them? No. The fun is only in bargaining. And when he died and his body was kept on display at home, and a lot of people, of course, came to pay their last respects. All those vegetable vendors came, the women, they came and they cried and they said, you've gone, now who will bargain with us? They were so affectionate, like they were crying away and saying, who will come and bother us, and things like that. And later I came to know that after he haggled and gave them the money and all, my older sister used to go and pay them the difference. Didn't know that. A good fun. Yeah.
But knowing what a big star he was, maybe the vegetable vendors would have given it to him free.
But he was a very good cook, and he was, he never forgot names, he never forgot faces. He could always remember, like when we used to go to Kodaikanal, the hill station, every summer. He had a place there. And about 4-5 years ago, I went there and I was looking for a tailor. So there, somebody said, you know, this David Taylor, he lives here, there. So I tracked him down and he welcomed me so warmly. And he said, you know, your father and I were great friends. I said, really? He said, yes, he used to sit and chat with all of us. And he used to remember our children's names. We used to have tea together in the roadside shop. And he was reliving all those memories. And I thought, how nice. And because of that, he was nice to me, you know. So
Oh,
I was very grateful. Yeah, he was very friendly. Very friendly.
no, that we could make out from the face itself. We could make out that he was very
Yeah.
friendly. I
Yeah.
was not in Chennai at that time.
Uh,
Otherwise, I would have seen him at least.
yeah. Very friendly. Any fan wants to meet him and all, he'll never say no. No airs and all that. Yeah.
To be seen. You want to be seen.
No, can't take any selfie also with him.
Those days there were no cell phones also. Pehle. In
Yeah.
the beginning. Yeah. So, but he loved to take pictures and he loved
Gemini
people taking
Ganesan's daughter
pictures.
is speaking. I want a very, what are his religious pursuits? What are his prejudices or
Pursuits. What are it? We are correct.
So yes, I got the question. Yeah, I'll answer. So he was brought up in an Orthodox Tamil Brahmin household where in any case, all those rituals take place, the pujas take place, the daily prayers take place. And he went to school for some time in the Ramakrishna Mission School in Chennai, Mylapore.
Shivaji
So
Ganesan?
he learnt yoga over there. He learnt Upanishadic verses, the Gita, everything. So he was well versed in scriptural knowledge and he was also a very good yoga practitioner. In fact, when he was in college, in Madras Christian College, one of the Scottish professors, he took photographs of all his yoga postures and he sent it to a magazine in London where I believe it was published, but I have not been able to trace it. But I found the negatives of those photographs and I had them developed here and I included 1 or 2 of them in the book that I wrote. So he regularly practiced yoga, and he could that every year you had that changing of the thread ceremony. So the Kurukal, the Pandit would come home, and then the Tarpanam, whatever they did, I don't know, they used to take out that thread and do all that, and that. And the Prohit used to fumble for when he was reciting the shlokas, and my father would be in a hurry. So he'll say the whole thing. He used to say all the verses, whatever that shloka, whatever you had to say, and he would finish it up. And he'll say, Sari, I'm getting late for shooting. I have to go. So he knew everything by heart because right from childhood, it had been ingrained in him. So I would say his religious views were very subtle. I mean, like it was a very personal thing. I have never seen him pray. I've never seen him say that I want to go to this temple or that temple. But he underwent all the regular rituals which normal people do, like or this thread changing ceremony. Then he would take us to the temple when there was an occasion. And he actually, I'll tell you one instance. Like once, he had come to Delhi and we had gone to Rishikesh because he said, I want to go to Rishikesh and Haridwar. So, okay. When we went to Rishikesh, we went to the Dayananda Saraswati ashram over there. There's Dayananda Saraswati, the person who started in Coimbatore. So we went to the ashram there. It was on the banks of the Ganga. It was very beautiful. And we were walking around, and then we found that a lot of people were lining up and going into one freshly built auditorium. So we asked what is happening. They said Swamiji is here in town and he's going to address the audience. So we also filed into that auditorium. Only the rear seats were few were empty. We sat there, my father, mother, and I. So after some time, Swamiji came on the stage, Swami Dayananda Saraswati. He greeted everybody and then he announced, we have a special guest with us today, and I would request him to come and say a few words to the audience.
Gemini Ganesan. His
Uh,
daughter. Daughter
so-
Rekha. So many daughters. Yes, some 7 or
Hello.
8.
Another daughter.
Can you mute your? Hello.
Is it a conversation? No, it's a.
I'm going to mute
Web-
all again. Ma'am, you can
Yeah.
unmute
Yeah,
and
and then
speak. Yes, please go ahead and unmute.
So as I was saying, so Swami Dayananda Saraswati came on stage and he said, we have a special guest with us today. And I would request the special guest to come up on stage and say a few words to the audience gathered here today. So everyone wondered who the special guest was. And then Swamiji said, I'm referring to Mr. Gemini Ganesan. And my mother and I were startled and we said, oh my God, suddenly, what is he going to say? Then my father smiled very shyly. Then he got up, he went to the stage. And then he said, I am not at all prepared for this. I just came as a visitor. And Swamiji, I didn't even know he's going to be here. And now he has asked me to speak. So I can't refuse. So let me see, let me talk about, he said. And then he said, let me talk about nothing. And my heart stopped. I said, oh my God, what is he saying? I hope he doesn't make a fool of himself. What is he going to talk about? Nothing. And then he said nothing as in everything. And he talked about how what we think is nothing is actually everything. And he talked about, I don't know what he brought in physics, metaphysics, Ashtavakra, Gita, this, that, and the other. Oh my God, it was such a beautiful talk. And it kind of covered everything in the cosmos, and it covered a lot of what our scriptures say, and everybody clapped like hell. Swamiji was so happy. He hugged him and he said, very good, thank you so much. I knew you had it in you. And so like that, I mean, like what I'm trying to say is that he knew everything, but he didn't wear it on his sleeve. I mean, like, yeah, he was born a Hindu, of course, and he was part of all the family rituals, but he never made a fuss about it or anything. He was okay. Like my second sister, Kamala, she married a Christian. She wanted to marry a Christian. So my father didn't object. He said, if you love him and you think you'll get on with him and you're okay with him being a Christian, then go ahead. But of course, the other women in our family, my grandmother, my mother and all, my grandmother was also okay, convinced. She was okay. My mother was very upset. And because it was the first time in the family that somebody had married out of caste, out of religion. So there was a big hoo-ha and all that. But anyway, they lived happily ever after. And he is now, of course, no more. He was a victim of COVID, but then recently, a year ago. But so that way, he was very progressive. He was very open-minded. And but at the same time, he knew he was well grounded in his religion and his scriptures. He was quite an all-embracing kind of a spiritual person. I would say he was a spiritual person rather than a religious person. Yeah. Anything else?
Ma'am, unmute and speak. Usha, ma'am, you can unmute and speak. We can't hear you. Yes. now you
How and when did he get introduced into films? Can you give us a brief introduction to that?
Ah, yes. So he was teaching after he graduated in chemistry from Madras Christian College. He got he became a demonstrator in the chemistry lab. Then he became a lecturer. So he was teaching there for some time. I think maybe a year or more. And then I think he got a job offer as a inspector, food inspector or something. So then, I don't know, he tried a little bit of this and that. He got bored. Then he wanted to join the Air Force. So, of course, his mother objected because he was the only child and he was already married and all that. But he went ahead. He went for an interview. In the interview was in Agra. So he went all the way to Agra. He got selected also. And but he didn't join because the mother objected and she said, no, you can't go and fly and all that. So that was the end of that. Then he found then S.S. Vasan, who was the owner of Gemini Studios. I think his mother was a very distant relative. they came to know that he had an opening in Gemini Studio for casting assistant. So he went for the interview, my father, and then he joined as casting assistant. He must have been in his late 20s by then. By then, I was born. Yeah, I was a third daughter. I was born. And when he joined as casting assistant, then he moved his family from Trichy to Chennai. And while he was casting assistant, interestingly, the people whom he cast and who became big names were Saukar Janaki, Savitri, Balaji. No, not Vaijayantimala. No. I'm saying whom he selected as a casting assistant. A couple of others I don't remember now. But so while he was doing this, there was a shooting going on of a film called Chakradari. Chakradari was about that potter, the potter who was a Krishna Bhakt, and he used to, while he was making the pottery, he used to keep singing songs about Krishna. And he had a little toddler son, and while he was closing his eyes and singing, the son falls into the potter's wheel, and the wife comes running out, and then then she pleads to Krishna, and Krishna appears and saves the child. Something like that. And the potter's wife was played by Pushpavalli, the Rekha's mother, and the potter, I forget his name, some famous actor. So anyway, so the person who was supposed to play Krishna didn't turn up. I think he fell ill or something happened. So they were all in a tizzy because the set was ready. They had a deadline, and Vasan was walking up and down. And then he saw my father and he froze and he said, "Hey, Ganesha, go and wear some makeup, wear Krishna's dress and come quickly to the sets." So he became Krishna and he played that role, and then there was no looking back. So after that, he got offers for hero. I think he got offer for Miss Malini. Miss Malini.
Missy Amma.
Miss Amma was later. First was Miss Malini, and then Manampola Mangalyam and all those, and then Miss Amma and all that. So then he Thai Ullam and all that. So then he became a big hero. I mean, like he was, and then he, of course, the family started living in Nungambakkam in Dr. Tirumurti Nagar. He bought first rented accommodation, then he bought an old house. And then we all went to school in Presentation Convent, and then he was a busy star. That's how he started acting in films. Yes. Very strange.
Have you seen Appa's shooting? Have you seen?
See, I have seen, won't believe it, only one shooting I've seen. That too because, see, my mother and all was very orthodox. Like she was very scared of the film industry. First of all, my father was also having all these relationships. And then she was scared that, we'll go astray or something like that. So she always protected us from the film industry. We've never gone to film events or shootings or anything. But one day, I had a fight with my mother and she started beating me. So then my father's secretary had to take me away from her. He said, come, I'll take you to Gemini Studio, because that was close to our house. And he said, shooting is going on for Shanti Nilayam with Kanchana. I said, oh, but if Amma knows, she'll scold me. He said, no, don't tell her. Come, I'll tell her that I took you out somewhere. So he took me to Gemini Studios, and that Shanti Nilayam, that one song was going on. My father and Kanchana. Kanchana, yeah. She was a former air hostess. Yeah, very pretty girl. So I was watching that, and then, of course, my mood became okay. And that was the first time I actually saw a film shooting of my father. So after that, I haven't been again. So that was nice. And I was fascinated how they had to keep shooting the same thing again and again till they got it right. So then it became boring.
Can you tell us how he came to be known as Gemini Ganesan?
Because he worked with Gemini Studios
Okay.
And he worked there for quite a while, and he was associated with the studios. And I think his initial movies were all made by Gemini
Gemini
Studios.
Studios.
So
Oh,
then Ganeshan, there was another Ganeshan, VC Ganesan, that was Shivaji Ganesan. So two Ganeshans were there. So to differentiate, in the first couple of movies that my father acted, the credits give his name as R. Ganeshan. His father's name was Ramaswamy, so R. Ganesan. And Shivaji was known as VC Ganesan. But then he acted as Shivaji in a movie which was a big hit. So apparently, Periyar started calling Shivaji Ganesan as "You are Shivaji, you are Shivaji, Shivaji Ganesan." So that name stuck for him. And for my father, they would say, because the Yanda Ganesan or Gemini Ganesan,
to
associated with.
differentiate.
That's how they came to be known as Gemini Ganesan and Shivaji Ganesh.
Okay.
Yeah. Lots of interesting stories about him.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So,
interesting. Yeah. So
yeah.
how is his relationships with other actors, let's say Shivaji Ganesan, or in those days,
Oh, very cordial. See, the problem is the rivalry was more between Shivaji and MGR because they were political rivals, no?
Okay.
Shivaji was with the Congress and MGR was with the DMK. And so what happened is, more than the actors themselves, the fan clubs used to clash. Those days, the fan clubs were a huge thing. And my father's fan clubs were also huge, but they were apolitical. They were not politically affiliated. So Shivaji's fans were all Congress and MJ's fans were all DMK. So they used to clash. And therefore, it looked like as though they were rivals, but in fact, they were not. I mean, they all had cordial relations. There was no fight or anything, but the fans used to fight. In fact, the other fans used to call my father, if they saw him, they'll say, "Hey, sambar poranda, sambar," because he was a tambram vegetarian.
Okay.
And then also my father had the reputation of being kanjus, because MGR and Shivaji had to splurge to get their vote banks, no? MGR used to buy rickshaws for rickshawalas, and Shivaji used to, I don't know, spend on something. They were all exhibited their spending. Whereas my father used to help a lot of people, but he never advertised it because he didn't need to. Like, he wasn't part of any political thing or anything. So mostly whoever he helped, it was for education, to pay their fees or the things like that. So therefore he used to be called Kanjus. So, and also he we never went for any of his film parties or anything. We were always a hidden family. So no one knew much about all of us. And whatever he earned or whatever he did, he always saw to it that all his children got property, a good education. So his focus was always on the family. So that's the story.
Any other questions anyone has? You can unmute and speak.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm Gopi here.
Hi, Gopi.
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, I just want to ask, yes, Gemini Ganesan sir was always called as Kadal Mannan.
Yeah.
So from which movie he was being called as Kadal Mannan? I think in those days all college and young girls used to like him. So in what fashion he was called as Kadal Madan? Is it because of a movie or because how?
I think it was more because, see, most of the roles he got were romantic roles, and he was his trademark kurta pajama and his soulful singing and things like that. So I think somewhere down the line, people started calling him Kadal Manan. It was not any particular movie or anything. And also you have to remember that not only did he romance his heroines on screen, he was romancing them off screen also. He first got involved with Pushpavalli. Then he had two daughters, Rekha and Radha. Then that fizzled out. Then he got involved with Savitri. They were together for 15 years. He had a daughter and a son. Then that fizzled out. Then he came back. Then he got involved with Rajshri. That fizzled out. Then There was one more person, I don't remember, somebody. So the thing is that later, when he was in his 80s, I plucked up the courage to ask him, why, Pa, you had all these flings? I mean, like, why did you do that? He said, it had nothing to do with sex, he told me. I was even surprised he used the word. And he said it was more to do with companionship, because your mother never came out with me anywhere. She never used to come to parties and stuff, and I had to go here and there, and probably for the glamour quotient or what, I don't know. Anyway, of course, he also got sentimentally involved with all of them, grant him that. And he did love all of them. So he could love many people at the same time. So that's also an art. And one of my friends, she used to say, don't lament that your father had all these flings. She said, if I want to have a fling, nobody will come. At least your father was so good looking, and he was had such a dazzling personality that so many people were willing to have an affair with him. So she would joke. So the thing is that but he didn't have a mean bone in his body. Like, he had maintained good relations with everybody. Like, I remember on all those morning walks we used to go on the beach, he used to then suddenly take me to Pushpavali's house also.
Oh.
And they would chat. This is when he was in his, say, 70s. And they would be chatting about old times, and then I would be pottering around, and then she would say, I've made avakai pickle, you want to take home? I'll say yes. Then she'll give me a jar of avakai pickle. She used to make jadi, very tasty pickles she used to make. And then so like that, he had cordial relations, and it was really amazing. So I mean, no one had anything against him. Like,
no, many ladies were behind him.
Yeah, I know. There were many whom he did not get engaged with. I mean, like, these were the only main, Pushpavalli and Savitri were the his main relationships. And I think Savitri also, he married her in a temple or something. I don't know if those days it was legal. I think maybe the, what is that, law didn't come into force yet. I have no idea. I do know that they went and married in some temple in Karnataka. Anyway, all that is history now. But all the children have good relations with each other, because the children are not at fault, no? If the parents gave birth to them, they didn't say, you give birth to us. So all of us have good relations. There's no problem.
That's nice.
It is to be appreciated.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
There's one question pertaining to he was Kadal Mannan.
Yeah.
The amount of love he gave to all, did he get it back?
See, the family definitely loved him back. I mean, to death. My only regret is that in his later years, I didn't spend enough time with him and listen to his stories, because he was full of anecdotes, and such interesting anecdotes, especially his college days and his early life. But those days, we are all busy with our professions. You can't get leave. You can't go here. You can't go there. So I missed out on that. But otherwise, all family and relatives, everybody loved him. And I think all his lady loves also loved him a lot.
Okay.
So, and his fans loved him. His fans, in fact, you won't believe it, one of his fans, Shyam Sundar, he died just last year.
I see.
Every year he would send me card, he would call me up and he'll say, I miss your father. On his birthday, he used to do puja at home. I mean, like, who carries on? My father died in 2005.
Okay.
And Shyam Sundar himself was old. I mean, like, I'm just taking one name. There were a lot of others like him. They were featured in some newspaper also, how they keep up the fan tradition, even though the idol is gone.
Yes.
So they were all devout fans. And they used to make poems about him. They used to make all his movie names together and create poems and things like that. Very sweet.
Nice.
And even like the drivers, the chauffeurs who worked for him, like when they had their children's wedding or anything, and he was already dead and gone, they would have huge cutouts at the entrance and giving blessings, that, and they would say, Aya, blessings, Lata, and the Kalyana Nadakadu and all that. So we would all go for the wedding and everything. his old driver, new driver, everybody. He was very nice to his drivers. Like whenever like he felt that they were getting tired, he would always say, "Let me drive for some time." You know,
Okay.
so they all loved him. Everybody loved him. I don't think there was anybody who didn't love him. I can't think of anyone. Even the relationships that fizzled out, it was due to so many other reasons, not because they didn't love him.
Okay.
So, I think
Did
it
he
was-
ever try to venture into Bollywood?
yeah, he acted in 3 or 4 Hindi films,
Is
but
it?
he was so busy in the Tamil film industry that he simply didn't have time to go there, because he acted in the Hindi version of Missy Amma. He acted with Meena Kumari, Miss Mary. Then he acted in Raj Tilak, which was the Hindi version of something with Vaijayanti Mala. I think. Huh? Vanjikote Valiban, I think. Yeah, Vanjikote Valiban. Then he also acted in another Hindi film. Kalyana Parsu also was Nazrana in Hindi. He acted as the other role, the second
Yeah.
hero.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And then he's acted in many Malayalam, Kannada, Telugu. Malayalam also he has acted. In fact, whenever he used to go to for shooting in Malayalam movies, he used to go to a studio in Trivandrum, Thiruvananthapuram. Then he would ask me, "I'm going to Kerala for shooting. What do you want from there?" I would say Kerala sari. I was in college that time, so
It's okay.
I used to wear only cotton saris. So I used to tell him, "Get me Kerala sari." So he would get me every time. He would be Kerala saris are all off-white, no, with some colored border. So I used to wear only that to college, and he sometimes used to drop me in college, and he'll say, "Hey, again you're wearing this. Are you going to become a nurse?" He used to ask me, "Or are you Sevadal?" Because he used to love bright colors. So,
I would like to record the great appreciation of your mentality. You know, usually a stepmother is regarded as somebody, an intruder into the family. Your attitude is so broad-minded, so kind, so liberal. It's so thrilling to see your reaction to all the family relationship and his true love. You took him very objectively. His love of his family, love of all his real romance and all that. Your attitude is remarkable. Not a single-
that has been
No.
percolated from whatever he taught us. I mean, like,
you
we
have
are just-
inherited. His genes are showing in you.
I think all of us have learned to be quite inclusive,
Remarkable.
because
Remarkable.
yeah.
Your attitude
Very,
is
very
remarkable.
broad-minded. That's what is so admirable.
I
No,
think
his mother tolerated many things.
my mother, you should say, my mother, you know, when Savitri auntie died, of course she died because she was a severe diabetic and she was into alcohol and all that. And she was in coma for a long time. Very sad, very sad. My father used to take us to see her in hospital, and he used to tell us, "You talk to her, she may be hearing, although she's in coma." All that. We used to hold her hand and try and talk to her and all that. We don't know whether she heard us or not. But anyway, very sad. Her son, when she died, her son was still in high school. And my father didn't know what to do, because he was living with his mother. And mother was in hospital for a long time, and he was just left with relatives and all that. And he used to be playing cricket all the time in the hot sun. So my father asked my mother, "What should I do with Satish?"
Satish.
Satish. Yeah. She said, "Bring him home." I mean, can you imagine? So Satish came to live with us. He lived, we had a room upstairs. He was given that room. All his things were kept there. He had his mother's photo on the wall. And he came and lived with us for about, I think, 2 years till he finished school. And my mother, every morning, she used to give him bonvita. I remember this. She used to give all of us bonvita, and then she used to mix bonvita and give him. And we had a veranda on the first floor. He used to sit on that veranda thinne, and she used to come and give this big glass of bonvita and say, "Drink this." He'll say, "Okay." And he used to hate it. So anyway, so one day my mother was, she got on to that, what do you call it? When you have creepers going up the house, then you get up on that windowsill, no? She used to climb and pluck the flowers. Then she found her feet were getting very sticky. They were sticking to that thing.
He was
And
pouring it down.
what she discovered was this boy used to, at the moment she gave the bonvita, he used to throw it over the
Plants.
plant. Yeah, over there on that cement, it had coagulated and it had become a sticky thing. So she realized what had happened. Then she came and she confronted him and said, "Have you been throwing my bonvita?" So he said, "Yes." "Why?" "Because I hate bonvita." He said, "I don't mind drinking plain milk and I don't mind eating bonvita separately. But when you mix it and give, it's horrible."
Oh.
And from the next day, my mother used to give him plain milk, and in a cup and spoon, she used to give him bonvita separately. I mean, it was Satish who told us this story.
Such a nice.
With tears in his eyes, and he said, "I can never forget Babjima." They used to call her Babjima. He said, "I can never forget how kind and caring she was." And I thought to myself, would I have ever been able to do this? I doubt, because to take in the child, first of all, and then to treat him like your own and to give him bonvita and then to pander to his tastes and things like that. Oh my God, that was really something. So I think from both our parents, we have learned a lot of things, to be understanding, to be forgiving, to, I don't know, to just be nice, I guess. So I think that makes a big difference. Like even today, those children always speak very fondly of my mother. Yeah.
Yeah,
very
I guess
heartwarming.
that's important. That's
Yeah.
important, right? You feel nice about it.
Yeah.
So we have time to take one more question. Anybody has a question?
No, it's
Maybe
not
you
a
can.
question.
Yes,
Sorry.
please.
Maithili, it's
Maithili.
not a question. It's not a question. My uncle, by name Ramaswamy Iyengar, he used to live in Pudukkottai.
Okay.
So my uncle and your father, they were neighbors in Pudukkottai.
Oh, okay.
So, and we have seen pictures, few pictures of your father and my uncle.
Oh, I see. How
My
nice.
uncle is no more now. My uncle is no more.
Okay.
Yeah. So
How nice.
he used to say, "Anga romba alga irunda, adunala da cinema pochi." My uncle used to say that.
Yeah.
He was very handsome.
Yeah,
That's why he
that is
got a
true.
chance in movie.
That is true. That is true. He was really very handsome, and none of his children have taken after him, unfortunately. But I think only Pushpavali's children are very good
Yeah, you
looking.
look like your father only. Yeah.
A little bit resemblance will be there, but I think Pushpavali's two daughters have really taken after their parents' good looks.
No, Rekha
Rekha
has
is, of course,
taken.
very
Rekha has
beautiful.
taken.
Yeah, she has taken after his nose and everything. So that's good. But yeah, he was extremely good looking, and he also was quite vain about his looks. He used to keep looking in the mirror.
bit of a narcissist.
Yeah.
And we had one friend in Nungambakam, next to your house, your father's house, by name Kannamma. Yeah, they were. So whenever we visit them, we used to stand outside only to see your father whenever to get this. So we didn't get chance to visit your son, see your father. Anyway, I have seen all his movies.
My father
Those
was
were old. Yeah.
என்னோட சித்தப்பா வந்து என்ஆர் கிட்டு பிலிம் எடிட்டரா இருந்தார். நான்
Kittu. Yeah, I remember that name. Yeah.
என்ஆர் கிட்டு எல்லா இவரோட பாலச்சந்திரோட எல்லா மூவிக்கும் அவர்தான் எடிட்டர். எங்க சித்தப்பா சிவா கணேசனோட எம்ஜிஆரோட எல்லா ஷூட்டிங்கும் பார்த்திருக்கேன் எக்ஸப்ட் ஜெமினி கணேசன்.
How many movies did he act in?
I think more than 150, but I haven't seen all of them. Like he started acting, I think after I was born, a little bit before I was born. But yeah, before I was born, 1949 or something, he started acting, or 50. I was born in 53. So I have seen many of his movies, but there are many movies that I haven't seen either. So
நிறைய மூவி ஹிட் ஆச்சு.
ஆமா, எனக்கு வந்து after he died, no, I feel very hesitant to watch any of his movies because then I feel like crying. So whereas my two older sisters are just the opposite. They keep watching his movies almost every day, and then they'll cry and they'll say, "Oh, appa, appa," and all. I said, "Please don't ask me to watch. I just can't watch. I can't."
Even I can't watch.
I feel very sad. I feel sad that I didn't spend enough time with him. That's the reason I feel guilty. He was such a sweet person, and he had so much one could have listened to. And I feel that all of us, you know, get so caught up in our corporate lives or your working life and your children, your husband, this, that, and the other. Then you forget your aging parents and you don't spend time with them. So I just feel that I should have spent more time with him and listened to his stories. Actually, before he died, the last couple of years before he died, I used to go to Chennai and I used to tell him, "Appa, tell me this, tell me that." He'll say, "Cheh, chumma ire, chumma na tondro panada. I just want to be left alone," he would say. Because he had reached the stage where he just didn't want to talk much, and he was at peace actually. He didn't want to cling to life and all. I remember when he was in hospital and people were trying to revive him with this needle and that needle. He said, "Don't make me a pincushion, just take me home." He used to say, "Learn to let go. Let me go home." You know? So very reluctantly, he was taken home in deference to his wishes. And then after a week or so, he died. So that way, he was not a clingy person. He was quite detached, but at the same time, very loving and nice person. Yeah, I'm
So when
happy
it
that
comes-
he was my father. Yeah.
When it came to the movies, his last movie was with Kamal Hassan.
Yeah, one of his last movies. Yeah, he did that Avai Shanmugi.
Avai Shanmugi, yes.
Avai Shanmugi, and he also did a 1-year TV serial with Kutti Padmini. What was it called?
ஜெயா டிவில வந்து
1 year, 1 year it was serialized. It was very popular. Krishnadasi. It was called Krishnadasi. A very good serial. He was the old patriarch of the family, sitting on that unjal and directing everybody, and it was very nice. Kutti Padmani made that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then he acted in Avai Shanmugi. Also acted before that. He acted in Unnal Mudiyam Thambi with Kamal Hassan again. That was much before. And then later, of course, one of his last movie was probably Avai Shanmugi, and one after that also. Male, not something, I can't remember the name. Not Kamal Hassan. It was somebody else. Not a very significant film, but okay. Yeah. Avai Shanmugi was good. He brought back the romantic aspect, no? Where he falls in love with his own son-in-law because he that was cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
his voice was very nice.
Oh, he could sing very well. He knew Carnatic music because his mother was very fond of Carnatic music, though she didn't have any formal training, but she used to sing a lot. All of us were made to learn singing. My two sisters learned Veena. I learned singing. My younger sister also learned singing. All of us learned piano. All this, he was very particular that we should learn some form of, music. He was very fond of music. He used to sing K.L. Segal's songs very well. And yeah, Carnatic music also he could sing.
What is your younger sister's name? Who's a doctor?
Jaya Sridhar. Jaya.
Okay.
She's into public health. She's a public health expert, and she also teaches in the Asian School of Journalism. She trains journalists on how to report on public health issues, like for instance now Corona. Before that, AIDS and the malaria and TB and all that. All these public health issues, how they should report on it and what is the terminology to be used. Things like that. She's a public health expert. She's also working for Internews agency based in Washington, which makes her conduct workshops. Now, of course, it's all online. Otherwise, she used to do physical workshops. Now she's training, I think, Korean journalists I'm not mistaken. Before that, she trained journalists from Afghanistan, all online. So she's deep into that sort of thing. Earlier, when the AIDS pandemic broke out, she went to Northeast. She did some research there. Then she and another East European, Kolako, they brought out a booklet on AIDS. And then for 1 year, Ananda Vigadan had serialized her case studies of AIDS patients, 52 weeks, 52 patients. It was called AIDS Yerimalai. And it came out in the form of a book. So she's also quite accomplished. And my oldest sister lives in America. Her name is Revati Swaminathan, and she's a radiation oncologist. She recently retired. And the second sister, Kamala Selvaraj, is more well known because she has a hospital in Chennai, GG Hospital. She's a fertility expert. She's also now kind of semi-retired. Her children look after the hospital. And then, of course, it's me and then my younger sister, Jaya.
You have not spoken anything about Rekha.
Rekha, yeah, we're all in touch with her, and she's very affectionate. She's very affectionate, and she's also very restrained and cautious because she's such a big public figure. And whenever she has occasion to come to Chennai, she meets my sisters who are in Chennai, or if she comes to Delhi. She came to Delhi when she got the Padma Shri some years ago, and then she stopped outside my office and she called me down into her car. We had a chat. And then she asked me, oh, this is your office building and this and that. Then she went. Then my colleague said, you didn't ask her to come inside. I said, I never thought of that. They got so angry with me. Then they made me call her. And then she spoke to every one of them and said, I would have come, but she never called me inside. I thought she won't come. So I didn't know. We are all very restrained. We always take care of the other person's space and privacy. You don't like to intrude. I never ask her questions about her personal life and all that. So, but she's very sweet. She'd look at me and she'd say, oh, you should lose weight. What is this? It's good for your health. You should take care of your health. And like that. She's very sweet. Her younger sister, Radha, lives in America. She's also very nice, very affectionate. They're all very affectionate. Yeah.
Gemini Ganesan. We're running out of time. I guess we'll have to close.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a lovely morning. We spoke about so many topics, and we felt like we got to know you all, and you're all part of your family. That's
more than anything, it's a lovely personal touch to give, and without sounding.
Yes, it was a lovely talk, really.
So nice of you to invite me to engage with all of you. I'm very honored. Thank you so much. And
Rashmi, can you please propose the vote of thanks?
Yes.
ஒரு கூட பிறந்த சிஸ்டர்கிட்ட கூட இருந்தா மாதிரி இருக்கு இவ்வளவு நேரம்.
ஐயோ, thank you.
Rashmi.
Yes, on behalf of Nightingales Medical Trust, we would like to thank you, ma'am, for being, and Usha, ma'am, for bringing such a lovely person amidst us so that we had such an entertaining morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm very grateful, and I wish you all the very best. And I hope you get many more such speakers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Rashmi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there, but I'm not able to mute.
Yeah, now you can keep the formal vote if you can.
Hello. Yeah, it was great. It was great meeting you and talking to you.
Thank you.
Hello. Yes. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
We can hear you.
Narayani, it was great meeting you, and I would like to keep in touch. And if I'm able to find,
I can't see you though. I can't see you.
Yeah. Okay, just a moment. I don't know what I've done here.
Rashmi, show your face. Video is switched off, I think.
You can switch on the video, ma'am.
Yeah.
The video stopped. It's coming. I don't know why. Anyway, let me finish talking.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, as I was saying, it was great meeting you. And I went down memory lane, actually, I was thinking of remembering Ganesh Uncle's visits to our place and all that. And I remember my dad had this photograph of the college, the college reunion and all that. And Ganesh Uncle was very much in that. So if I'm able to find any of the old photographs, I'll share them with you.
Oh, thank you so much. That would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be so nice.
Thank you so much,
Most
we
welcome.
really enjoyed today's talk.
I too enjoyed talking to all of you. It was so nice. I also went down memory lane because of all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
are, we
Bye,
are really
everyone. Until we meet again next month with another interesting topic.
Thank
Have
you.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Have a
Bye-bye.
Bye. Do
Bye
I
bye.
log out now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.